Recently, I saw on YouTube an interview with someone, and they talked about the coaching situation. And from the audience, there came a question, and the question was, if I am going to engage you as my coach, how would we go along? How would it work? And this person did not immediately answer, took a while to think, and then he said, I don't know. So the question was, if we work together, you as my coach and I am the coachee, how do we go about? How does the process go? And the coach answers, I don't know. That struck me. This is why I'm telling this to you. That lived with me for a few days. And I was thinking and reflecting about it. And this person, the coach, was talking about entering or being very present. And he was talking about how he does it, how this whole space of being in the now, how that is, and how he works with it, how he experiences it. And I realized that his answer to say, I don't know, was very authentic and very true to his story. Because if you enter the presence, if you are fully in the now, by definition, it means you are not remembering anything, you are not carrying with you the knowledge in your head. Of course, you carry it with you, but you don't have it conscious in the present moment, because you are in the present moment and there's no memory. There is only your full awareness and your focus on the other person, your full attention. And that means you are there with your full human being. You could also say, which I would do in many of my videos, yeah, you are centered in your heart and you are present with your heart. So you live from heart at that moment. Your full attention is with the other person. That means you are not thinking about a possible answer while the other person is talking. Because if you would do that, you would not be fully listening. If the other person talks and you are busy with thinking about, what is my next advice, what is my next sentence, then you are not fully present. And this is why this person on YouTube said, when I'm fully present with you, I don't know what will happen. So the answer is to the question, how will we go along when we enter into a coachee and coach relationship? The answer is, I don't know. So that's why I called this podcast the entering the present moment, which is the unknown. And then this man explored this a little, and he said, well, of course, if we then sit opposite each other, or if we are in a video conferencing situation, or even on telephone, of course, I would probably then ask a question like, well, what brings you here? And if you would give no answer, which is probably not the case, but if that would be the case, then I would answer next question. So what is it you would like to gain from our conversation? So I would show interest. I would be curious. How are you? How are you doing? And I would open up this space with some of those questions. And then I would try to be fully present, aware, be with you, hold the space between us, for you and also for my deep listening. And that is the present moment. Of course, there are many ways how to enter this. And one of the next questions in this interview was also, well, how can I learn to be better with being present? Yeah, I just talked to someone else and she reported on a coaching situation where the coachee was nervous, was very much in her own thoughts. And the person I was talking to, she was explaining how she tried to bring calmness into the situation, and that this only partially was successful. So calmness is another element of being present. So if you enter the present moment, if you enter fully into the now, a certain calmness is necessary, stillness, an inner stillness, a readiness to receive. It is certainly also helpful to feel your body, to feel your being, to know that you are here. So it is also this element of being with yourself and at the same time being with the other person. I experienced that when I talk to a group of people, that I can do if I am well in myself, if I feel well, if I'm in a good flow, I am able to see exactly in the faces, in the eyes of the people I talk to, whether my words, my talk is landing with them or not. People would either nod a little or they would react. Most people show a certain reaction. And I can see that and immediately react to it while continuously speaking. So this is something which is, for me, is amazing that this is possible, that so many different layers of being and consciousness and sensing is possible. So I sense the outer world, I sense the people who receive my talk. I talk and I keep thinking about my next sentence. And I fully feel myself standing in front of these people. So it's a consciousness which is with me and with the others at the same time. That's really amazing. It's also a great feeling if you are lucky, and not always for me this is happening. So it really needs good moments when you are in a good flow and when everything, all the conditions are good, then this can be possible. So these are a few aspects of being in the now. Being with you at the same time being with me. Entering a certain calmness and stillness. And not thinking about my next sentence, but having the inner confidence, because I'm fully aware and present in myself for the other person. I'm holding the space and I have the full confidence that something will arrive which I then can use. So I am not afraid of not knowing. For me, at least, another element is very important for this. To be able to have that inner freedom, to have that inner confidence, I need to prepare myself very well. If I give a talk, I would prepare it really very, very good. In a recent case, for instance, I did PowerPoint, several versions of it. I added to it, I changed it, I sent it to some people, I collected some reactions. They said it's too much on the slide. So I added some slides which are easier to grasp. And I really, really prepared my talk, also then going to sleep the night before, waking up early enough, preparing myself very carefully to be fully present. And what did I do in the talk? I talked without PowerPoint. I talked free speech. And it was much, much better than using the PowerPoint and following the lines which I invented up front. But without the work, without the preparation before, I would not be able to let go and then let it flow. And all the ideas which I prepared, they came in the right order, and I could really present them in a good way. So preparation is very important, at least for me. Maybe if I grow with more exercise and getting better and better with entering the present moment, maybe then my confidence rises or gets better, and then I need less and less preparation. I indeed have a friend who says, well, I'm actually not preparing anything anymore. He fully trusts in what comes in the moment when he is present and is listening to the situation. For me at least, and I think for many of you also, good preparation is important and belongs to the process, because what you prepare is a sort of exercise. Yeah, you think certain thoughts, ideas, you collect an amount of possibilities, and then in the moment you let it go, and you fully trust what is the right way to start. I also remember that I had courses in several parts of the world, Malaysia, China, and every morning at 9 o'clock I had to find the right first sentences or the right idea to start. And with all the preparation, often I didn't know. And I remember that I went down the lift from, I don't know, level 10, let's say, level 13 or 35, wherever it was. So you go down the lift, and it was in level -1. There were the lecture rooms, people are waiting there. The door opens of the lift, and luckily I was never afraid. So I come down with the lift, the door opens, I walk the 20 meters into the room, and I know what to say. So these moments are maybe helpful also for you to play around with these elements of really exercising throughout the day several times, many times, to become fully conscious, to be more present than you normally would be, and see what happens. And finally, as a final thought, there is this book, which I think is a very good book. It's a Real-Time Leadership, yeah? It's a very good book. And on page 40, they also talk about the present moment, and they talk about the space between stimulus and response. Yeah, that's the space. The other person says something, or he or she doesn't say anything. That's also something you observe. That's happening outside. And now what is your response? And the space in between, that is the present moment, or part of the present moment. And they name a few elements: calm, which I named also already, calm and stillness. They also explain in those moments there's clarity. The situation, your being and through your observation of the other person, there's a very high degree of clarity possible when you are really in the present moment. Then they mention curiosity. I also said that you have interest in the other person. You are interested in how are you doing? Why are you here? What are you actually wanting to do with your life? What are your questions? So I'm curious. That is also part of being present in the moment. The next word they use is compassion. So I feel empathy, but that goes with interest. When I'm really, truly, authentically interested in the other person, there's also empathy and there's compassion. And then finally, you need courage. And courage is another word for confidence. So maybe courage is a stronger word. So have the courage to go into the unknown. This is where I started my talk with. Yeah, if you are going into the present moment, you go into the unknown. And the unknown is the field of all possibilities. And you are entering this through your heart. Because as soon as you go back in your head and try to think and use your logic and your abstraction skill and analyzing, you are out of the present moment, because then everything you remember, your memory, your associations, your whatever you are, then comes back and is there, but is not the unknown in the present moment. That is something different. And that is only possible if you leave your daily way of thinking, if you enter a space which is more in the middle of your being, and which is, in the first place, the space of the unknown. But then you, with more courage and more exercise, you can find more and more that here's the connection to everything. Here's the connection to the sea of all possibilities, where the ideas come and where you feel like, okay, I know exactly that what I will going to say now, or what I am saying now, is the right thing in the right moment. Nobody can tell you that, but you feel it then. And for these special moments, which are then transformative for the other person, for these kind of moments which are then gifted to you, you do all the preparation. Yeah, so this is a beautiful opportunity for us to enter this space of all connections, of all possibilities. Here we are connected with each other. And then maybe a final thought. If you do this well, if you are lucky to say the right thing in the right moment, coming from an authentic being in the here and now, as I mentioned, this can be transformational for the other person. If you would say the same thing from the head, it would probably have much less effect, if any effect at all. So the same thing said either from the head has probably very little transformational effect, but coming from the heart can have a huge transformational effect on the other person. Thank you very much for listening, and see you soon again.